So before I start, hello everyone and good evening, morning to all our participants. I, I want to extend my sincere thanks to the OSINT Conference and OSINT Ambition for giving me this incredible opportunity to speak here today. So, so we're going to talk about de-anonymizing threat actors, advanced OSINT tactics. So let's begin. So, I'm I'm Nazdane Maori, OSINT investigator and the founder of OSINT Bastion. I'm based in Manila, Philippines. I specialize in cybercrime investigations, digital forensics, and intelligence gathering to support criminal cases and missing persons investigation. So if you have questions or anything, you can message or email me. So let's start. So as you can see, why OSINT for cyber criminals? Now, with this slide, why OSINT for cyber criminals? The question naturally arises: why why is open source intelligence is so crucial in this fight? The answer lies in the fundamental nature of their operations and our investigations. Traditional forensics methods often tell us what happened, but wasn't what happened their operations what happened but I mean tell us what happened but doesn't help us answer the critical question of who is behind it, how they operate it, and where they might be next. uh, it's moving beyond the technical artifacts there and into the human element, understanding their infrastructure, their communications patterns, their recruitment, and even their motivations, all from data, and they inadvertently live in the public domain. This is precisely why OSINT for cyber criminals is not just advantage but a necessity. So this is the other term of why OSINT cyber criminals, why OSINT for cyber criminals. So we establish why is OSINT is a critical tool against cyber criminals. Uh, this actually plays out in the real world, especially how law enforcement agencies and intelligence analysts leverage it. This slide highlights law enforcement uh, use OSINT to uncover nation state actors, ransomware gangs, and hacktivist groups, often before they strike. How they do it, or how they do this. Cyber criminals, despite uh, their best efforts at anonymity, often leave digital breadcrumbs. Wasn't allow us to map these places and connect them to real identities. Whether it's through OPSEC failures, operational failures, like selling or exposing stolen credentials on dark web, and underground forums, or simply through their online behavior. These simply small slips are key for the anonymizations through passive observations. The power of OSINT is that it's not intrusive public source and doesn't require special access where we're not hacking back or violating privacy. We're meant we're meant to, I mean we're piecing together information that's already publicly available to build a comprehensive picture of our adversaries. This allow us to move from reacting to attacks to proactively identifying and disrupting criminal operations. So in the next slide, uh, this is the OSINT life cycle. So what is OSINT life cycle? We have four different kinds of OSINT life cycle. planning, directions, uh, collections, processing analysis, reporting, feedback. So uh, now that we understand why is OSINT is critical for unmasking cyber criminals, let's look how perform a structured, effective way. Just like in any intelligence discipline, OSINT is chaotic dive into the internet. It follow us a semantic approach as the OSINT life cycle. Uh, as you, so, what is planning directions? This is where we define what we're trying to achieve, what our intelligence requirements, who is our target, what information do we need. This is initially clarity saves immense time and effort later. So, collection. Once we know that we're looking for, we move into the gathering the raw data from various open source. This is where the actual hunting happens, right? So processing analysis. So raw data isn't intelligence. This is stage is about turning the raw data into actionable insights, filtering out noise, enriching what we have, and connecting the dots. That and so we have next. We have the last, which is reporting and feedback. So we communicate our findings and critical. We learn from the past. We learn from the process to improve our future operations. So over the next slides, with the deeper, uh, with the into the deeper these spaces to give you a clear picture how this life cycle operates in practice when targeting cyber criminals. So let's start by sliding this one. Okay, this is the information of OSINT life cycle. Another term, which is the as you can see here, we have the collect. I mean the pace analysis gathering from online sources such as social media breach dumps, and technical metadata, and to uncover relations or the network. Network investigations. So that's so next we have the social network analysis. So this is a how do I wait, yeah, okay. So we have here the social network analysis. Moving beyond the general life cycle, let's dive into some of the powerful techniques used within the processing analysis space, particularly relevant for unmasking cyber criminals. One incredible effective method is social network analysis, or SNA. Cybercriminal rarely in isolation or a single platform, as these slides state. Threat actors often operate across multiple platforms, use overlapping online identities. Thinking about it, how a ransomware gang might have presence on the dark web forum, a Telegram channel, and even anonymous social media account. SNA help us piece together this disparate digital footprints. The core idea is to map this connection by correlating simply minor details such as username, avatars, email addresses, and even subtle interaction patterns across different sites. For instance, if an actor used the same unique avatar on a hacking forum and a less secure gaming forum, that's a connection. That's a connection right there. Use the same unique avatar on a hacking forum and a less secure gaming forum, that's a connection. So, analyze don't just eyeball. This is they use graph-based mode. This is they use graph-based tools to visualize relations between accounts and detect central nodes or clusters. Clusters. These tools can show in can show who is communicating with the whom or who is influencing whom and identify the key player within a group. So crucial even minor overlaps like similar bias or identical writing style across different accounts can lead to linking multiple personas to one real world individual. This technique is especially useful for uncovering coordinated operations or revealing the underlying structure of a criminal group, allowing us to see not just individual actors but the entire network they belong to. So, so next slide is language, habits, and timelines. So, building on the concept, finding connections through digital breadcrumbs, another powerful set of OSINT tactics fall under behavior profiling, which we call language habits and timelines. These techniques help us de-anonymize individuals not just by what they say, but how and when they say it. Excuse me. First, logistic analysis or stylometry can detect unique writing styles. Think about someone who consistently use a specific slang, peculiar grammar, common typos, or even subtitle indications of their native languages influence this writing in English. This logistics fingerprints can be surprisingly consistent and lead to linking multiple anonymous posts back to a single author. Second, time-based patterns such as posting frequency, time zones, or consistent login hours can strongly indicate geographic origin or daily routines. For example, if a dark web forum user is consistently active during uh, specific businesses hours in Eastern Europe or Moscow, let's say, it might hint Russian actors or particular geographically location. These patterns are very difficult to fake consistently over time. This behavior this behavioral data, when combined within technical indicators like IP addresses, even if mass patterns can emerge or server location, help us build incredible comprehensive threat actor profiles. It moves us from this attack came from an IP address to this attack likely came from a Russian speaking individual operating during a certain hours or who uses this specific terminology, significantly narrowing down the search. So next slide, limitations and countermeasures. While OSINT is why I mean while OSINT is incredible powerful weapon in our arsenal, it's vital to acknowledge its realistics, including its limitation and countermeasures. Uh, the adversaries we're tracking are not static; they are constantly evolving and are increasingly sophisticated. As this slide points out, threat actors are increasingly aware of OSINT techniques and actively take steps to avoid exposure. This means they employ various strategies. They heavily, I mean, they heavily use anonymization tools like Tor, which routes their internet traffic to multiple relays, making it too difficult to trace their true IP address, which is they really they rely on burner accounts, which is one-time use email addresses and social media profiles that are quickly discarded. They communicate via encrypted messages apps, and making intercepting their conversation virtually impossible through OSINT. They adapt compartmentalized identities, meaning different personas for different activities to prevent linking them. And in some advanced cases, they even plan false data to mislead analysis, creating intentional digital breadcrumbs to throw investigators off their trail. So that's it for our presentation, and we're moving forward to demo time. So I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how do you will de-anonymize a cyber threat actor or a threat actor. So I'm going to present my screen. Uh, before so before I present so before I present my demonstration, how will I demo to a de-anonymize a threat actor? Uh, let's first introduce to you the subject of this investigation. This is not a simulation. This is a a real world cybercrime investigation. What I'm about to show to you guys is based actual investigations or based on actual intelligence conducted using advanced sourcing techniques in coordinations with law enforcement agencies. There will uh there will be no blurring of names, no hidden details, and no reduction. You will see the threat actor exactly as we discover him. Every mistake, every footprint, every areas, uh, because in the world of cybersecurity, especially when we were against threat actors disrupting governments, breaching corporate system, and threatening digital sovereignty. Transparency matters. Okay, the individual you're about to see didn't just hack websites. He left he left behind the digital trail, so so full of obstacle failures. So I will demo in this dive. So that is that will lead to straight to his real identities. Okay, so let's start. So I'm gonna share my screen. Wait, wait, let me call. Let me just share my screen. Wait, how do I share? Okay, now. So here, this is the actual graph tools that I will be demonstrate. So I'm gonna introduce the threat actor that will be demo or de-anonymized. So this threat actor is a prominent cyber criminal considered the Philippines' most wanted criminal, has escalated the cyber attack on government infrastructure, surpassing the scale of 2012-2016 Commission of Election or COMELEC database. They recently targeted the Department of Science and Technology or DOST in April 2024, which is recently this past year. Uh, Deleting a staggering 25 terabytes of data and causing widespread disruption The group claims to have infiltrated the system like hypervisor, NAS, and routers, gaining domain, pri- domain, admi- domain administrator privilege, and encrypting the domain controller, which is they left declaring, quote, "this site is seized by the Filipino people," rejecting political, quote, "utang na loob," and opposing constitutional changes favoring wealth sign, quote, hashtag Operation EDSA or Op EDSA. This individual is known as PH1NS or PINS. So, as you can see, wait, I forgot to show the image. I'm gonna show the image first. Let me show this on screen. Okay. So, as you can see, uh, here, his Bridge Forum account, which is PH1NS. So, uh, he didn't just escalated cyber attack on Department of Science Technology, which is the DOST, but two businesses and six government agencies and one law enforcement agencies, which is the Philippine National Police. PH1NS targeted the PNP logistics data and suffered staggering loss of approximately 1.6 terabytes of data and leaking the sensitive information. This figure is significantly larger than the 300 gigabytes of confirmed in the 2012-2016 COMELEC or Commission of Elections data, highlighting the increased scope of H1NS operations. So here, as you can see, it targeted the Philippine maritime industry, uh, the uh, the Venezuela government, Philippine Agriculture Credit Policy Council, and the Department of DICT, which is one of the leading cybersecurity in the Philippines. He hacked the system of the DICT, which is the leading cybersecurity in the Philippines. So, and also the Department of Science and Technology, and Acer Philippines, which is the computer some I forgot computer brand, and also the Environmental Management Bureau. So let's proceed to the demonstration. So as you can see here, his Bridge Forum account, user PH1NS, uh, it started by by March or April 2024. I've seen PH1NS targeting a lots of government agencies. So uh, I've seen his X or Twitter account, PH1NS using Twitter account to post his plan of attack or of updates of attack. Also, I gather his email here, as you can see, ph1riseup.net and ph1nsproton.me and also ph1ns Tutanota account. So here is let me, here is his Twitter account, which is he left the message here. I mean the bio, DICT best friend, which is the cybersecurity government. So wait, let me just go this but no, okay. So let's proceed. So first things first, to know you more about page one NS. So how ID anonymize him? Let's start by beginning. I started by beginning searching the query, Facebook search query, page one NS, and it was resulted to this account, which is the Archie.Comilan 5, which is the sock puppet of page one NS. So we extracted the name, which is the lorem ipsum, which is with the nickname page 1NS. So, and when searching the name Archie Comilan, it leads to this person, which is a he is working as security officer, which is like operating a CCTV or operating a camera something something like that. He was a security officer. So he also posted uh a post about page 1NS targeted the PNP online system. So we know that this account was uh this account was I mean this was account is used just to mislead the investigations. So here, as you can see, uh the account was not related to cybersecurity or any computer thing or IT tech related. It's just he is just a security officer of a government agency and a private company based on his LinkedIn account. So yeah, and proceeding to the next. So how I confirm him because of uh I contacted some of the law enforcement agency, which is the Philippine National Police, to confirm who is this person, Archie Comilan, or the name Archie Comilan. And they said to me that Archie Comilan was only a security guard or the security officer from a government agency. He was not related to uh, cybersecurity or any tech related. So move forwarding how I uncover him. So from the HackerOne account, so he has a HackerOne account that was connected to a third party account lead to this username InterceptX. So as you can see here, there is a third party account here. This GitHub, when clicking it, you will be redirected. Oh my god, you will be redirected to this uh, username, which is the InterceptX. So and also the bio has a portfolio website of him and a Twitter account, which is the Cyber Watchdog. This name Deep Web Connect is a cyber watchdog in the underground forums and other things. So as you can see here, a profile and other repositories. So this HackerOne account was linked to this intercept username. So from intercept, I gathered this GitHub commit repository with the .patch and extension. So what is .patch extension? That's the basic information gathering or reconnaissance to a GitHub account. You can possibly get their email used to register to their GitHub account. So you will just put you will just go to a, let's say, uh let's go to this repositories. Let's go to coded scripts. So go to a this commit. So go to this commit and go to the latest commit history. So and then put a what, no, why it's not, why it's so smooth. So just put a .patch extension on the end. On the end, you will put a .patch extension on the end. So oh my god, why the hell this? No, it's not this one. I think Let me just grab one. So as you can see, I have encountered an error here, which is I didn't get the email. But going to all the repository, I mean the commit history, searching through all the commit history, you will get a possible email connection. So as you can see here, we get the name Marbel Golane and the email golanemarbel@gmail.com. So that's one of his OPSEC failure, which operational security. So this commit history was made by Marbel golanemarbel@gmail.com. So that's one of these OPSEC failure. So from I tried to use Ocean Industries to uncover more information leading to this email. So Ocean Industries help us to find digital footprint of an email address. So okay, let's see. So from Marvel Golane, I started doing deeper. So I searched through his Facebook account. Uh, let me just let me use a tool to. This is actually a free tool to to search a name, which is the idcrawl.com. You can use it. It's public. It's free and publicly. And it's public. Yeah. Oh my god. I forgot. Oh. Yeah. So yeah. Um, because I'm using a VPN, that's why it's not. But yeah, move forward. Just gonna use Facebook. So you can add me on Facebook also. So as you can see here, uh, in his bio, uh, he put a security bug hunter at HackerOne and former security researcher at Armed Forces of the Philippines. So and also other jobs of him. So that's what uh this is what I mean, this is actually verified already. So and also a portfolio website of him. So when clicking it, I know there is an IP logger there is an IP logger. And also this one. This is a IP logger, but it was already down, or he take down the domain already. So but yeah, we can proceed by this, or let's say let's go to the graph instead. So uh by doing a search through his portfolio website. So the this one this IP logger site, which is the s.ru, is an IP logger. So it will redirect you to this domain, which is the marble about tiny.site. So I extracted all the informations in the website, which is his portfolio. So and in this we extracted the all of the information details on the website, and it leads to this. He put in his portfolio website, which is the pseudonym InterceptX, Marble, and PH1NS. That's another connection to PH1NS. So it was confirmed. Uh, it was confirmed that Marble Golane is behind the alias PH1NS. That's one possible connection. So and other thing is the when you go to the contact.me, he will you will given by this information, which is the phone number. I use Ocean Industries to check if there isn't any digital footprint of this phone number. So there is. a Facebook and Instagram. And also, I found this company, which is Byte for Security Company, that he was currently working, or he was possible the CEO or the founder of it. So that's one of his operational failure, which is uh, that's another operational failure or OPSEC failure, which is he put a pseudonyms InterceptX, Marvel, and PH1NS. That's a connection to PH1NS, as you can see from from HackerOne account, PH1NS, to GitHub InterceptX. So that's a connection that Marvel Golane is PH1NS. That's actually one of the basics that I encounter of a cyber criminal or a threat actor. So this this investigation was actually a 2 years of investigation. So to know you more about it, it's 2 years. I investigated PH1NS 2 years ago. So until now, and we are still investigating him, but uh, law enforcement already caught him. So yeah. Okay. So let's see. So in so let's forward to another information. So okay, let me just hear it. So by the way, I forgot this thing. I also found another GitHub account, which is the Max Anthony Pablea. Another GitHub account of Marvel Manwaza Golane, which is PH1NS. So I'm gonna just pop here. So, okay, okay. So, as you can see here, it was confirmed that Marvel Golane, I mean, that PH1NS is Marvel Golane. So, as you can see here, a picture of him and a a, tweet, a Twitter account and other bios that that he put in his bio. Security focused person through privacy and creating solution in a clever way from scratch. Always love coding, building awesome stuff. As you can see, developer, security operation, security researcher, and coder. He also put a lots of social media of him. So that's third. I mean that's one of that's a operational security again. As you can see, the cyber criminal is, I don't know what to say about him. Why he always put a lot of social media of him on his GitHub bio. So maybe to attract the visitor or the other, the other I mean maybe for attraction, yeah. So you can see there is a Max Anthony Poblea and emails, uh, a lots of it. So again, uh, by going back to the graph, so, so Marvel Manwaza Golane to this I tried also the email, so it leads me to a lots of social medias of him. So let's I forgot this part of okay. Okay. So, yeah, I forgot about this. Yeah. So from his page, this is what I say on the Facebook account. from Facebook account, he posted a photo, which is a let me just find it, because he posted a photo. As you can see here, before he take down the domain, this is the actual website, the actual front of the website. I mean, the headline. This is, as you can see, this is the GitHub profile. This is the GitHub profile. Where is it? Here, this one. As you can see, he posted a lot of information or his intel on his Facebook account. So by going back to I mean, let me just page 1s. Page 1s. As you can see here, he posted a Operation EDSA that was linked to the Department of Science, Technology, and the Department of Science and Technology hacking. So he posted about the Anonymous Philippines operations. So with the IRC chat and with the room admin, page 1 and that. So this is another operation failure. So as you can see here, to know more you about Operation EDSA, after the cyber attack, he left a message Operation EDSA. So from Operation EDSA to the hashtag Operation EDSA, this furthers collaborate individual with cyber attack operations. So where is it? Here. Forgot where is the audio. Oh yeah, this one. So I forgot to say on the first on his portfolio website, you also left a IRC which is the IRC chat with the hashtag Operation EDSA IRC. That's another operational failure, which is the OPSEC. As you can see, this attacker is weak from his operational security. He is a known hacker, which is he surpassed the 300 gigabytes of data in the COMELEC election, which is the voting system of the Philippines, which is the Commission of Election. It was only leaked by the Anonymous Philippines on 2012 and 2016. And now, from the latest, page 1NS targeted 6 government and 1 law enforcement. So he deleted 25 terabytes of data of the Department of Science and Technology and 1.6 terabytes of PNP logistics data and PNP firearms and explosive, which is the FEO system. So this is the graph. So as you can see, that's a lot of information that we gather. So from Gulane Marbel, we have a lot of information of him. So this other emails, I uncovered them by using a OSINT click bot, which is a Telegram bot to check if there is a data breach on a name or let's say an email. So I gathered this cool email of him, marbel.golanes studentlaberdad.edoc.ph. As you can see, student Laberdad, he put this on his, uh, on his bio on Facebook that he studied on La Verdad Christian College. So another operation security, right? So uncovering the email, I use the OSIN Industries to uncover all of his digital footprints. So let's start. And this all of this is only on the OSINT Click bot, which is the Telegram bot, which is the which is it has hundreds of thousand data breaches around the world. I mean, around the globe, right? So, yeah. So, I'm forgetting something. Okay, that's it. I think so. So I demonstrated to you guys one of the operational failure of a security. I mean, a cyber criminal or a threat actor. This this is the most wanted cyber criminal in the Philippines. Actually, he was wanted by the National Bureau of Investigation, Philippine National Police, and other law enforcement in the Philippines. So I collaborated with the law enforcement agencies. Uh, I collaborated with them, and they told me to have a meeting with them and discuss about what we do with page 1NS. So yeah, as you can see. So okay, let's wait. Let me just share another. Yeah. So I forgot to say this. So Marbel Golane, aka okay, sure. Uh Marbel Golane, aka PH1NS, uh despite uses technical skills and wide skill attacks. So what is operational security? So I'm gonna tell you guys. Reuse usernames across hacking and personal accounts. Didn't compartmentalize identities. Left a public trail aliases, commits, social profiles, and even phone number. Made it easy correlate hacker activity to a real world identity with freely available OSINT. Advanced attacks don't always with come up operational security or OPSEC. In this case, it was a textbook lesson in how not to separate your digital identities. So